Hey guys, welcome to GuitarMessenger.com. I'm here hanging out with Michael Keane of The Faceless. I kind of want to track back a little bit. I know you guys were the first band signed to Sumerian Records, right?
Yep.
And you re-signed for Autheism again. So can you tell me a little bit about how you got in touch with Sumerian to begin with? Because at the time the label was starting out, now it's grown to this big thing. So.
Sure, yeah. Well, at the time we were becoming a pretty popular local band, and we actually had some offers on the table from other labels, which I won't say which ones, but there's some labels making offers, and I actually knew the owner of Sumerian, Ash, through his former band Reflux, who we'd played shows with in the past. I ran into him at a show, and he told me that he was starting a label, and at that point he was already a pretty successful booking agent. He had a handful of bands that were along the lines of us, so it definitely made sense in that regard. And we took a bit of a chance. There wasn't really any track record there, so we didn't know what would come of it, but we knew that we knew his track record as an agent, and that he could get us on the tours that we needed to be on. So we rolled the dice, and it ended up working out, obviously. So it's been a good experience. So we've just stuck with it.
These other labels they had the offers from, were these established larger labels?
Oh yeah. Especially at the time, they were Sumerian didn't exist, so anything was bigger than that.
Sure.
But these are labels that were very much established, that everybody knows or whatever. But and they the deals they were offering in some regards were actually better deals, in terms of like advances and things like that or whatever. But I don't know. I just had a good feeling about the Sumerian situation, and it was it just worked out well. So there was a lot of things that definitely were favorable over some of the other offers. So it kind of made sense.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the larger advances from the other labels, but it sounds like maybe you were looking at something more long term.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so did you guys end up signing a multi-album deal? Was it a one thing at a time kind of situation?
I don't know if I should really say what the exact details of the deal were, but it was a shorter term deal than the other labels were offering.
How is your position within the metal community different now as opposed to when you're first signing on then? Like what are some ways in which that's reflected? Obviously you guys have grown as a band, but how do you feel that?
We still get offers coming in on records, and we have on every record. We've had other labels making us offers, and obviously our stock has grown considerably, so to speak.
For sure.
So I mean I guess that puts us in a better position. It gives us better bargaining chips, whatever. So to be perfectly honest, I don't really think about it that much anymore. I try not to, because if I do, it just drives me crazy. Kind of makes me angry. I don't really like the business side of the music industry. It's sort of I don't know. It's kind of a mess. It is what it is. So I just try and be happy that I'm on a record label that can put out my records, and it sort of lets me do my thing, and doesn't harass me about it.
For sure. Yeah. Speaking of, keeping your mind on all these different things, you're doing all the production, you do the writing, the majority of the writing as well. How do you balance everything? What do you, at the end of the day, what's the most important to you?
Well, it's all important,
Right.
So it's all important. I guess the answer is sometimes I don't balance it. I just do the best I can. I hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of become this like hybrid, conglomerate, so to speak. Like the writing is very intertwined with the recording, and vice versa. The processes are kind of one and the same. Like I sort of write things as I record them. That's just sort of like something that's developed with the Faceless. But I find that I do that for pretty much any music I write now, for the most part.
Interesting.
If I sit down and I'm playing guitar and I have any kind of idea, if I come up with some riff that I'm liking, I usually immediately start recording it, and then recording it will then kind of create these permeations and whatever, and then the next thing it grows, and I add parts and whatever, and then Eventually, that can turn into a song, but I like that process. It's allowed me to like hear things, subjectively, I guess, before I become like emotionally attached to them,
Sure.
So
yeah.
I can kind of like just throw something out and then take the parts that I like and leave the stuff that I don't like, kind of right away.
Is all of your music writing going directly to Faceless, or do you have writing efforts outside the group as well?
I definitely do have writing efforts outside of the Faceless. I do things for various stuff. I do production for other bands.
Yeah.
And, I have like a catalog of songs that I've done just for various things that are like for like stock music and things like that.
Right.
And like also, I have another project that I'm gonna do at some point in the future. I don't know when, but it's there's guitar in it, but it's not really guitar crazy music or anything. It's more of like a traditional. It's not pop music per se, but it's that pop sensibility, pop song structures, and it's kind of dark music, but it's
more electronic driven, or
there's definitely keyboards in it. I wouldn't say it's electronic. Yeah, I guess maybe you could say that. Electronic is a very taboo word these days.
I know. I guess I'm just trying to say in the sense of, are there a lot of synths, and are the beats kind of are they played on a standard kit, or is it more
50-50? Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Are there any production projects you're working on right now that you can share with us?
Well, not outside of my own music. I've kind of taken a little bit of time off of doing that, actually.
Any particular reason, or?
I'm just a little worn out on it. You
Yeah.
know? It gets a little exhausting. I don't know. I was just starting to not like it, So I figured I'd take a break, come back to it, and
Gotcha.
have probably have a better outlook on the whole thing.
Yeah. Starting to see grids when you close your eyes.
Yeah, and it's just driving me a little crazy. So yeah, but I've been working on stuff for Faceless and other things that I'm doing, just sort of at a casual pace, I guess. Namely the cover album, which has been talked about a little bit.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Where are you at with that right now?
There's a few songs that are mostly done. I'm just kind of, like I said, my writing process and recording process are very, very much kind of one and the same. So one of the biggest challenges with this cover record is that a lot of the arrangements aren't metal arrangements, and I'm trying to kind of make them Faceless arrangements, and that's actually pretty challenging for some of these songs, taking like a pretty basic structured song with a simple arrangement and figure out how to make it really complex and crazy or whatever is actually harder than you would think. But it's the type of thing where I'm just sort of tackling it one song at a time. So,
Sure.
One of the first songs I started with was this Nine Inch Nails song. And, I got that one, like the arrangement, like pretty much done before I even started tackling another one. So yeah, I got that one. Then I got a Depeche Mode one mostly done. Got a David Bowie one about halfway done. But there's all kinds of stuff on it. It's like, I don't know exactly everything that's going to be on it yet. I have a lot of ideas of what I'd like to be on it,
Sure.
But there's some that are definitely already set in stone. And
What's the latest one you worked on?
well, the latest one I've been working on was the Depeche Mode one and the David Bowie one.
Cool.
Yeah. And I really like how the Depeche Mode one came out. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Did kind of like a black metal arrangement, sort of. It's cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
So what's the collaborative process like within the band? Is it mostly you putting together the arrangements and bringing the guys in to add their parts, or?
Yeah, I mean, traditionally that's sort of been how it has gone, and like I'm definitely looking forward to working on new original Faceless material, and Wes is right down the road for me, so I'm definitely looking forward to doing like more of a collaborative effort for that. Unfortunately, it's something that like has barely even entered my brain yet. I have like a catalog of riffs and stuff, but I haven't really even started working on a new album or anything per se.
Sure.
So yeah, and I've just been kind of trying to focus on the arrangements for the cover stuff, which I've been doing largely, well, entirely by myself. But when I get the arrangements done, then everybody will come in, and that's when we'll get everybody's parts together, and everybody will
Right on.
come up with their stuff.
So it sounds like you guys got a lot in the pipes, with Between Covers album, and you already have a bunch of material for the next Faceless album.
Sure.
Sounds like you have a lot of things that are going to be coming out on a pretty continuous basis.
Yeah.
But I know you had a pretty long gap between Autheism and Planetary Duality before that. Can you talk a little bit about what happened there? Did you take some time off, or?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did take a little bit of time off, and man, I don't know. For me as a musician, doing death metal doesn't always necessarily fulfill my musical aspirations in their entirety. Like I said, I feel like one of my stronger points as a musician is that I have a pretty strong pop sensibility, which I think kind of shines through in the Faceless in terms of being a death metal band. I think I think there's definitely like a popular music aesthetic that sort of rings through more than a lot of other death metal bands. It's a little bit more structured and digestible to some degree. Having said that, doing just death metal kind of can get me down in the dumps a little bit sometimes, and I definitely had like a little window of time there where I was pretty kind of bummed out about what I was doing, and just. But then, I got new dudes in the band, and it kind of, breathed new life into the whole thing. And I started working on Autotheism, and working on Autotheism, I feel like I kind of expanded quite a bit in the writing and everything on that. And it made it really fun for me again, and that kind of gave me the second wind I needed, So, yeah, I mean, now I'm feeling, pretty good about everything. So I don't think it'll take... almost 4 years again.
Yeah, so you just mentioned those lineup shifts.
Mm-hmm.
How solid do you feel about the situation right now?
I feel really good. I love all the dudes, and I love playing with them, and we're having a lot of fun, which is really important. When you stop having fun, that's bad. That's real bad.
Is that what happened, would you say, before?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, there's, I love all the old guys too. I mean, Brandon and Derek are like still two of my best friends. I see them all the time. As a matter of fact, the person I was texting with for this interview was Brandon actually. Cool. I mean, if you're not having fun anymore doing it, then it's gonna reflect in one way or another, and
for sure.
It just kind of became like a stressful thing. It was like not as fun as it used to be, and it's nice to like have that back, have that positive energy, and just everybody having a good time, and
for sure.
It's cool.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.